Welcome back. It's Tuesday, I guess, following Columbus Day. And YieldMax has their new format, Group 1 and Group 2, they call it. So specifically, if we look at their X.com account for YieldMax, we can see we got the Group 1 announcement here. It's all kind of their ETFs that include several different options in them, or they're just not based on a single equity. So overall, what we've got SLTY at 58 cents, SLTY at 46 cents, CHIPY at 40 cents, GPTY 31 cents, RTTY 26, QDTY 25 cents almost. YMAX, both very solid, 20 cents and 17 cents respectively. SDTY at 14 cents, ULTY at 9 cents, FEET and FIVI both at 0. I'm under the assumption since these were monthly and they went to weekly, I think they're going to stay at 0 until their monthly pays out and then go to weekly. I guess I'm not entirely sure why the 0, but that's my assumption, is that they're going to go, once they pay the monthly out, then they'll go back to weekly. But this is the group they'll be in going forward. You can correct me on FEET and FIVI if you like. That's just my kind of assumptions. I think there's a little bit of confusion with this. Where's Coney? So Coney is going to come out tomorrow. They even say it out up in their YieldMax post. So if we go back up here, we will note that another day, another distribution. So coming tomorrow is going to be very complicated, or not complicated, complex. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be announced. I guess it'll be interesting to see exactly what or how this is structured. So the ones that paid last week, I believe it was Group B, those will pay a weekly, but like some of the ones that have been building to pay a month or so, I'm going to be interested to see how those are. Are they going to put those at 0 till they pay a monthly distribution, then go to weekly, or are they going to somehow pay different arrays of distributions? The one I've just paid will only pay a week, where the ones that have been kind of adding up premiums for 2, 3, or 4 weeks, maybe they'll pay all that at once. That'll be interesting to see. Maybe people already know that. Maybe it's in the prospectus or the announcement. I just didn't see it yet. But tomorrow will be interesting to see what the distributions are and how those are looking. Yeah, so here's a question about the FEET and FIVI. I don't know if it looks like you'll get nothing and like it. But they're at 0. I guess I'll be interested to see where they go. But anyways, that's the distribution for those. I do get all those on my website here. They're under the weekly Thursday, and you can see like here's ULTY, and you can see I do have like SLTY was a recent addition that I do have here. And I've got the compare. SLTY has not been a very good investment thus far. Distributions, you can see they've paid out, about 6 so far. Average kind of around about 60 cents. But overall, yeah, the investment's down, probably between 10 and 20% total return. But if you're into SLTY, I do also have the in-depth details here, as you can see. And basically what they are, I'll just go over this really quick. You can take a look at this. Maybe I'll cover it more detail going forward. But they're basically the opposite of what ULTY is doing. So instead of owning stocks like ULTY does, they are short all these stocks. And you can see the stocks are short. ALAB, AMD, ASTS, BE, BTDR, Circle, Duolingo, Enphase, GitLab. They're in some of these I don't even know. KTOS, Lemonade Insurance, and NBIS, Restoration Hardware, and Tesla. And so they're short a bunch of them. They do got cash. They actually got more cash than the ETF fund is currently. And they also got some in, government obligations. They kind of put these in treasury bills, put these in the cash sector. I still got to look at this some more to exactly understand. But they're, like I said, they're structured almost identically like ULTY. If you look at the ULTY in-depth tab, you can see it's ALAB. So instead of owning the stock, they're basically short the stock. In this case, they're short, 5,100 shares or 51 contracts. And then what they do is they're short. And then, so if you buy it, if you were to own the stock, you would sell calls against it. In this case, since you're short, you're selling puts. So this is currently trading at 176 a share. Looks like the put is sold at 215. Is that right? 223, 220. Maybe I'll take a look at that ALAB. I'm not entirely sure what that stock is. Let me just check. It's Astera Labs. I guess, so yeah, that one looks kind of odd. It looks like it did just move a ton. I don't even track this one very far, but on Friday it was trading at 225. Now it's at 161. I guess it was down 20% today. So that looked off just because the price of these contracts are short. But anyway, so in this case, they were short the shares. They sold the put at 215. In addition, they bought calls at 250 and they sold calls at 275. So my mind is set on the owning shares and selling calls. So I kind of got to reverse the way my mind thinks, but it's basically the opposite of what ULTY doing. So usually ULTY is they own the stock and they sell calls, but then they also buy puts as protection. So this is the opposite. They're short the stock, they're selling calls, or they're selling puts, excuse me, but they got these call spreads as kind of protection. Usually you think of put spreads as protection or puts, but in this case, the calls or call spreads are the protection because we're short the stock. So this kind of outlines that for you. It's really structured just exactly the opposite. If you look at these charts and you look at the ones for ULTY, it's almost like the exact opposite. Like all these bars, if you would just flip them and rotate them, you basically have all. If you rotate around the x-axis, you basically have ULTY. But I'll take a look at these a little further. I just want to see this market value of A-Lab. So you can see, yeah, like I said, the put is worth a lot because that stock basically created Astera Labs. Astera Labs is an American fabless semiconductor manufacturer. I've heard of it before, but I guess I didn't recognize the ticker off the top of my head. An artificial intelligence company. Yeah, I don't know why they dropped so much. I'll have to take a look at them a little bit more. But clearly with the drop, the call options are worth almost zero from a market value perspective, but the put that they sold is worth a ton. That said, they are also short the stock, so their short position in their stock also went up a lot. So here's the market value tab. If you look at their contracts, so in this case, like if I go to ULTY, and if I just click the calls, in this case, it's just got the puts. So you can see they're just selling puts because they got short position in stock as collateral. And on the call, if you look at the calls, they're basically, well, of course, they're buying calls in every position to offer them down. It sounds weird saying because, I usually think of buying puts to offer downward protection, but in this case, they're buying calls to offer downward protection because they're short the position. And then they're selling calls that gives them kind of like a call spread rather than just buying the call outright. So yeah, I don't know if these charts help. They help me. I need to look at them a little bit more to really understand it because it's kind of the reverse in my mind of what ULTY does, of course. But for those interested in SLTY, I do got the information out here. I'll put the link here in the description if you want to come out and see it. But yeah, then I also got the the strike here on the x-axis and what they own. Maybe this will make better understanding. So in this case, the shares, they're short the shares. The shares are currently at 167.40. They're short. They sold the put. They bought a call, and they sold a call. When they did this originally, the stock was more over here. So the stock ran way past the put. So selling the put, it looks like they made money, I guess, on this because their short position made money. But in this case, the put capped their upside. So think of it reverse of a call. If it's a call and you buy a call or you sell a call and your stock's here and the stock runs past the call, you cap your upside. In this case, the stock was here. You're short it, so you want it to go down. But these puts you sold capped your upside. So maybe that helps to see it. Maybe we'll take a look at one where the stock maybe hasn't moved as much. AMD. So I guess if I look at AMD right now, I just want to see where the stock price is at. It looks like it's at about 218. So it's probably a little even lower here. But the last I had it checked in at, it was at 223. We sold the put at 225. So this almost was a perfect scenario. I'm sure the AMD was higher than this when we originally sold this put. We did buy the call at 250 and sell the 275 to kind of offer us downward protection. But yeah, I mean, these are structured. Just you got to flip, like I've said probably a few times, you got to reverse the way you think. Because if you're used to doing the calls with stock as collateral or leaps as collateral, that's basically the reverse. You profit going to the left instead of going to the right. But yeah, if you want to look at these, the stock positions, I mean, these stock names, I will say, are a little different. Maybe I should filter these or sort them based on highest to lowest. But if you look at the stock names here, and if you go to ULTY, you want to see what stocks they currently hold right now, just click the stocks thing. You see in ULTY, I mean, we got a lot of Rigetti, Rocket Lab, CoreWeave. Really, I thought the stocks would be somewhat similar, but I don't know if these are stocks they have a positive, or I don't know, something's telling them that they think these ones will go higher? Because ULTY, of course, does best. I'm trying to think. So ULTY, they do have put positions bought on everything that they own, but I would still think they want stuff to go higher. Whereas SLTY, they got call positions bought on everything they own, but I imagine the best thing for the fund would be for the stocks to go lower. So I don't know if they have a bullish or bearish thesis on these stocks. I do know it's like something like Circle. I guess overall, I think I was thinking the stocks would be somewhat the same, just kind of get the high volatility stocks. But in this case, you got Circle, which I think they might have in both of them. Let me just check. I know ULTY at one point had some Circle in, if I remember correctly. But if I look at it right now, maybe they don't got Circle. I remember Circle was another single stock ETF that they were adding, so it's not necessarily held in ULTY right now. But yeah, I guess if you know why these stocks are in ULTY and the other stocks are in SLTY, I guess I'd be interested to understand that, or maybe I'll figure it out if I look at it a little bit more. But yeah, I guess this is the breakdown overall of ULTY and SLTY for the Group 1 ETFs that announced today, Tuesday, and will pay on Thursday. Tomorrow will be the big day. We'll see how those come out. what kind of data comes out. But yeah, there's just a quick recap for today.